Good day, you Black Sims and ladies. Take like maybe 12 now. I've lost count. But anyway, I keep making mistakes. So let's get into this. This is going to be a guide about hog gliders, barbrams, and the graveyard spell, as well as any coinciding strats that go along with the barbrams, the gliders, right? Because you don't want to always just have to rely on them. There's certain circumstances that they're going to be better in certain layouts and compactness and whatnot. So we're going to get into that. Now, I want to focus on this as well. This little diagram, not diagram, but this little graphic that I've made for us. We're in the middle. We want to stay there. We're not going to be on the left-hand side anytime soon. That is the Legends clans. If we want to be there, we must start getting there. But anyway, we're going into the right-hand side too many times because we're making unnecessary mistakes, people. We're already above average. You should see yourself as that, and you shouldn't sell yourself short either, people. I expect better, because I know you can do better. You didn't expect a pep talk, did you? Neither did I. So, we are going to focus on two-shotting everything besides Capital Peak, the Barbarian Camp, and Dragon Cliffs. Okay, they should be 3 shots. I'll have a video guide later. I'll have video guides out later about Barb Camp and Dragon Cliffs for the 2 shots, so that we start getting ourselves into Legends, because we can start getting ourselves up to 1,700, 1,800 raid medals if we actually start specializing. So I'll have a few people probably doing that, hopefully, if they take interest in it. And yeah, another thing I'd like to put some focus on here is, people, I need you to be a little bit more flexible with your attacks. If you're going to be rigid, you're going to do badly, okay? So be a little bit more flexible. You see you need something here, put it in. See you lack something here, put it in. See if there's too many of this, take it out, okay? Another core concept here is what I'm doing right now. So right now, I am clearing. I'm making the base. I'm giving my hogs a clear line of sight to every defense that they need to stun. Because the glider stuns everything for 4 seconds. They don't just fly on those things for nothing, people. They've got a purpose, okay? So if you're going to utilize them correctly, you want to spread them out, give them the chance to stun, and take damage away. I also need you to look at the skeleton placement here. It's not too far back, and it's not too close, okay? You want the skeletons to work in the second attack, but you need them to be far enough in that they're going to tank for, well, they don't tank, but they distract for your hog gliders, okay? Your hog gliders are called glass cannons. They can't take damage, people, so don't expect them to. You're sending them to a wood chipper every time you put those graveyard spells too far back, okay? And they just die on impact because you're not affording them the ability to do damage, okay? That's also why, look at exactly where I'm putting those spells. I'm putting them on top of the giant cannons. Always put them on top of giant cannons and next to blast bows. I'll get into it now a little later. But let's just focus on this attack real quick. So I'm not even going to use all of my graveyards. Don't do this. Place all of them, but I'm going to show you. This is how strong this attack is. Later on, it's going to be even stronger when we get our max hogs, okay? So look, the base is obviously not maxed, but if you just place the extra on, we won't have to worry about it, okay? So just don't do what I did. I'm just showing you. This is to showcase it. Now look at this stun. I'm going to stun these defenses that like the crusher, the blast bow, these like high damage dealing defenses. You need to stun them if you want to mitigate as much damage as possible, so that your hogs can have more HP at the end of the day, okay? So you want to have some of your hogs left at the end of your attack. It just shows that you're taking care, and you're making sure that you are stunning correctly and efficiently, but not too slowly, okay? If by 2/3 of your attack most of your skeletons are dead, you're attacking too slowly, okay? That also means you're clearing and you've already placed the graveyard. Don't clear and place the graveyard. Clear first, then graveyard, okay? Let's get this clear. So, next, I'm basically explaining here, skeleton, whatnot, damage, yeah. So, I keep not having enough time in this video to explain everything, but we're going to get here, okay? So, the in the next video, I'm going to start explaining why we place it on top of the giant cannon. You're going to see on the top, I'm putting it next to, on the left hand side, it's also next to, and on the right hand side, I'm putting it directly on top of the giant cannon. Now, you're going to see exactly why we put it on top, okay? So, as you see, you're going to start seeing little skeletons spawn, right? So the giant cannon's going to start targeting the closest unit to its base, okay? So once the first target dies, it targets the next closest thing. And what is the next closest thing? The skeleton. So if your skeletons are off to the side, it's gonna whatever's coming up from the other side, it's gonna target that, which is your hogs. You don't want that to happen. Also, on top of this, look, there's actually even skeletons left on this side. But if you look on the left side, obviously you're not attacking there, but it's a good visual representation of why you don't put it next to it. Because if you put next to it, 30% to up to like 80%, some of them, sometimes 100% of these skeletons just die in one shot, because if that giant cannon hits the skellies, it takes both skellies. Okay, ground skellies have 2 lives. It's the armored skelly and the normal skelly. Don't let that happen. This raid, if I plan it correctly and time my graveyards, because you don't have to place all graveyards first. You can place one, start coming in from one side, and as you see you're getting to the next side, place the next one. Start letting things die. Skeletons start spawning. This could have been 70%. I'll show it that in another video, but just listen to what I said and apply it somewhere. Train a little. I'll show you how to do that a little later as well. So another thing to note here, put your barb rams first, please. Okay, every little barbarian that comes off of that is 1.25 housing space. Now, one skeleton only spawns for every 5 housing space. So you want those barb rams to start dying so that your skeletons start spawning. You don't want your hogs to start dying because they're doing the damage for you. The barb rams do not do damage. They open the base up for the skeletons, yes, okay? So that the skeletons can take more. They're cannon fodder, people. They're bullet sponges, okay? Let them do their job. But the hogs, these are your assassins. Use them correctly, okay? We're going to see a perfect reason why to use them in the sprinkle manner, okay? We're going to start sprinkling them onto this capital hall. And as we're doing this, it doesn't get any chance to do its damage. One of those shots can take out an entire group of hogs. So be very careful with those, okay? At the same time, I'm also putting in on the sides. Don't be so tunnel vision. Just keep your peripheral vision open, okay? Make sure that you're focusing on other stuff. Otherwise, it's all just going to converge on the center. All that damage is going to converge on the center, and everything's going to die. So just be mindful of that. But as you can see, graveyards next to blast bows and rocket artilleries, okay? Last attack here, I'm also going to leave a graveyard out. Don't do that, but I'm just showing you how strong this is, okay? It looks like a whole base is left, but it's still going to be annihilated. So, but as I was saying, look, so where the rocket artillery and the blast ball also have, it's like the mortar in the home village. There's that little radius on the inside that it can't target anything, okay? So if you just sneak something in there, it dies. You don't have to worry. So you're effectively sneaking in your hogs by making the rocket artillery and the blast bow focus on the next closest unit, which is the skeletons, which is like the damage that they do to the skeletons is it's useless for the base's defense, because the base those skeletons aren't going to do the damage. Your hogs are. So you're giving yourself more time to damage the base. Okay. Now here's a perfect representation of why we don't spam, people. It looks like it's going okay. Most spam does. Okay, but to me this looks like genocide. We're genociding pigs here. Don't do this. It's so unnecessary, and you'll see sometimes these attacks take longer than my actual attacks. Okay, it's because you don't know how long these things are going to take. You've got other things on the sides, but if you just attack properly, you would actually take less time. I know you don't have time, but don't do your raids when you don't have time. But look here. Every single shot from one of these major AoE defenses, splash damage defenses, death, people. Don't do this. It irks me. Okay, I couldn't bring myself to do this at sometimes, you know. But here's the drama queen. But anyway, so as you can see, I'm going to drop everything. Let's just make sure, whatever. But look, this looks like it's a slam dunk, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. But it isn't. You're going to see now, because they were all bunched up, they took so much damage together. This back end bomb tower is going to eviscerate them. There's no attack left. It's a 97%. It's the worst feeling, people. Don't do this. Also, clean your raids. Don't have an attack left and not finish your 97% raid in the raids. You will be kicked. It's like if I went to your house, walked in the door, took a shit in your toilet, and left. Okay? I didn't even flush that thing. I left the toilet seat up. How do you like that? Huh? And anyway, so this is a perfect representation of why we don't spam. Looks good, but it's actually shit. Okay? So next attack, what is this? It's gonna be but yeah, let's just let this sink in. It looks bad. Okay, it does look bad. It could have been 3. You've wasted one of the raids attacks, and now we didn't get 15 districts, people, or 15 raids. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands, don't spam. It's like spamming giants and spamming wizards. Don't do that. If you want to see a golem's worth of HP go bye-bye in 3 seconds, do that, especially in Dragon Cliffs. I saw someone do this the other day. Wanted to pull my hair out. Why would you do this? And then they did it for 5 raids. Don't spam. Just, if you're going to do that, spread them all out and spread the wizards out. You'll have so much more success. It still would have been a 4-shot because they didn't use it properly. But anyway, let's look at this as well. So I'm now going to show a hybrid. We're going to first go in with wizards. You can see the base is really compact. So if it's compact, this is a wizzy's heaven. Okay, that you want them to, because of that chain damage, they're gonna eviscerate the space. There's gonna be nothing left. Well, nothing left, but so much damage has been done. It's basically clean up from here. Okay, you can see graveyard next to you can, but make sure you're also spreading them someplace else. Don't just focus on the big defenses. Okay. I also want to make sure that you understand. I see a lot of people putting the graveyard spells on the other side of the base of your attack. Why would you do that? The skeletons are there to distract. They take damage away from your hogs. Don't, okay? Don't put them on the other side of the base. That's pointless. You just put a graveyard spell there and you wasted a graveyard spell. You waste 3 because I see some people just putting all 3 at the back. Don't just focus on those things. If you see that you're going to get there in the next attack, then use the next 3 there, okay? Use the first 3 to get as much damage as possible in your first raid so that you can do the damage in the second raid. It's common sense, people. So, as I've explained, just be mindful that your attacks are going to hinge off of your trickling, how fast you trickle your hogs, how slowly you trickle your hogs. Barbrams first, hogs afterwards. Okay, keep some hogs. As I've said, be sure that your timing is good. You can finish most of your attacks in like a minute if you just plan accordingly. A lot of your time is going to be clearing. Okay, clear first, attack. Now here, this is the Dragon Cliffs that I wanted to show everyone. So this is the only time I'll ever say mix air and ground, because this place isn't every other. Yeah, everyone hates this place. Okay, but this makes it relatively easy. So we're gonna have the skeleton barrels go in. They are gonna distract the dragons so that the inferno dragons can kill the dragons. Okay, you can see, boom, 1 dead. Okay, we already killed 2 here. Actually 3, mind you. No, 2. So next raid, you should only be doing this in 3 attacks anyway. So you'll kill the next 2, you'll kill the last one. Okay, don't expect 2s here. Sometimes you will be lucky, unless you know what you're doing. But yeah. So as you can see, I'm opening up with some Barbrams. You're mixing them in as well. They can ground. It's perfectly fine. But look, the dragons are going to kill those ground skellies in 1 shot anyway, basically, because of their AoE, their type of AoE. Okay, but so you don't have to worry about mixing. Do not mix super dragons with hogs or whatnot. Don't mix ground armies with air armies. You either go air or you go ground. Okay, it's absolutely ineffective to mix them, because ground skellies die in 2 shots, air skellies 1 shot. Super dragons are useless to begin with unless you're a pro. They know what they're doing. Don't think you're a pro, don't use them, okay? Until you get to where you think you're a pro, then boom, use them because you know what you're doing now, okay? But let's master the basics and the principles first, and then we can focus on that later, okay? But right now, like here, what you can also do is you can if you see the guard post is dead, well, destroyed, then you can lure the dragons elsewhere, okay? So be mindful of that too. That's why I'm putting the graveyard spells, because there aren't rocket artilleries or giant cannons or blast. Well, there is a blast bow, but you don't really have to worry about that much because you're not putting it on top of it. You're not supposed to put it next to them. They distract, okay? But here, your giant cannons and your rocket artilleries are these dragons. So you're going to put it on top of the dragon post because you're keeping the dragons as busy as possible. It's the same as every other one. Don't put them elsewhere, put them directly on top, because it also destroys the guard post, which allows you to now lure it out, and then you can kill them with some like with 2 or 3 Inferno Dragons. Just make sure that you got something underneath that they're targeting, and then you target it so that they kill it. Easy, people, easy. Never have to worry about the dragon cliffs again. You just apply that army any day, every day of the week. Okay? So here, I'm basically showing, I see a lot of people don't know this yet. You can just go to that challenge bar down there on the left hand side. It says challenge. If you go into a district, press challenge. Go into any district, press challenge, and then you can just choose a layout, and then you go into the thing. But that's at the end of the video. Now here I want to showcase, I'm clearing again. You can see I'm clearing. I would love to get that green building. I should have brought one more Super Bob, let's say, okay, and a couple more Rams. Little adjustments, tweak, people, tweak. If you see you need a little bit more clearing, bring a little bit more clearing. But like you can also see, I also opened up the base a little bit before I put the graveyard spells down, because you know you want to get a little bit more further in so that you can get your damage in faster. So delay your graveyard spells sometimes. It's better sometimes, but don't use your whole army before you get into the graveyard spell. Obviously, just think about it. Okay, so we're gonna now. I would love to get a little bit. That green building stopped me from like surgically striking everything with the hogs, because you want to use those gliders. You want to use those gliders effectively. They're 4 seconds stun. You don't realize how much damage it saves your hogs. So you can get a lot further in the base if you just plan a little bit. Okay. So here we're gonna now. This is a little bit more advanced, but we're gonna get there with you guys. Okay. And thankfully we've got the 7 spell capacity now. And look where I'm placing that graveyard. On top of the dragon post, on top of that giant cannon, and we're going to use the rage with the wizzies to gut this capital. Okay, we're going to gut the insides out, and we're going to have a couple skeleton bombs, skelly barrels, and an inferno dragon to go after that dragon just to make sure it dies. Because look, the wizzies aren't always going to get there, and sometimes they die before they get there. So just make sure that thing dies, because that can ruin your whole attack. Be very mindful of it, okay? But look how much damage those wizards did with that rage. Okay, it's amazing just how far a little bit of planning goes. We're going to do almost the same thing a little bit later, and you could it's beautiful, okay, people. It's no, I've got coffee. But anyway, so now let's look at the little rocket balloon I'm going to use at the bottom here, because I saw, okay, there's one air defense, and it's going to have little few problems here. So you're going to put it in that way. It's going to take out both of those cannons. You're not going to worry about those cannons ever again. And then here, see that P.E.K.K.A? That P.E.K.K.A is going to draw the fire from the clan capital, okay, or from the capital peak. Now, the reason being is you want that capital to focus on that, so that your wizards aren't focused, because you usually focus your wizards if you just have wizards and barbrams. And look at how much value that chain is getting. Okay, now remember, if you get those wizzies on there, everything around that capital is going to die, because it's got so much more HP than everything around it. If you just like plan that a little bit, oh, it's amazing how far you'll get with it. Okay, so it just shows how far just a little planning goes. Okay, just scout the base a little, see what you need. I would recommend going in with the hogs first, like do as much damage, like get as far inward as possible. Once you get to the core where you see everything's nice and bunched up, then you start using your wizzies. If everything is compact, use wizzies. If it's stretched out, go hogs. Also, I see a lot of bases that are like against the deployment zone. Push yourself out of the deployment zone first. Don't put the graveyard spells down. Push yourself out, and then go around from the side. Never go straight in, okay? So here, I'm showing off how you can do the challenges. Press on the challenge when you're in the district, choose a layout, and then just do the attack, right? I don't want you experimenting in our raids. It's to the detriment of everyone's clan medals and our trophies, okay? Don't do that. Experiment with the challenges. That's what they're there for. But don't think your experiments work. This strategy works. Don't use anything else, okay? This is a perfect strategy. It works absolutely well. So, yeah, just also go watch other people's replays. You see them doing well, watch their stuff. Best, King, not King's last, like later attacks, because he's got to go through like 10 accounts. It makes sense that he's going to start now making mistakes. But yeah,